complain, the next thing is to murder you, to kill you. So I think it's the usual, the evil ones, because I don't want to profile every Hada or every Hada who is of a particular ethnic nationality, Fulani precisely.
Yes.
I don't want to profile every one of them. I always say to the evil elements among them. There are good ones among them that have cohabited with us for ages.
Yes.
There is a particular stock among them that commits them these evil deeds. So, well, thank goodness one of them has been arrested, and I guess the needful will be done.
Yes.
We'll be able to lead them to his accomplices.
Yeah, still talking insecurity now, and where security agencies have raided forests and hideouts for criminals in Ekiti State. And the security agencies in Ekiti State yesterday launched another joint operation codenamed Operation Comb the Bush as part of efforts to enhance safety and prevent criminal activities in the state. The operation involved men and officers of the military, police, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC), Department of State Services, Amotekun Corps, among others. The Commissioner of Police (CP) Ekiti State Command Falade Adegoroye, while addressing the joint patrol team at the police headquarters in Ado-Ekiti before the commencement of the exercise, said that the operation became necessary following intelligence reports indicating intensified security offensives against criminal elements in neighboring Kwara, Kogi, Ondo, and Osun states, as well as parts of northern Nigeria. You know, that is what I always up on: security reports, security information. Yes, now they already had this information that something is about to happen. Now they are taking proactive measures. That is what I always preach on this program.
Well, this also sounds encouraging. Troops intercept medical supplies for terrorist attacks, rescue abductees, and well, it's about interception of suspected logistics supplies and foiling terrorist attacks and rescuing kidnapped victims across various theaters in the last 24 hours. And well, an operational report that was made available to newsmen by Operation Adinkai, and they also intercepted a truck conveying large quantities of medical supplies suspected to be meant for terrorist elements in the northeast. And this is what we keep on saying. Of course, these elements, they are not domicile. Mostly they are not domiciled outside the country. They are within our country, they are within our borders, they are within our communities, they are within our forest. And they are in large numbers. And they have to eat.
And of course, they have sponsors too.
They have to eat. They need medicine. They need clothes, change of clothing and all that. So whatever they use, of course they must be getting. It's not coming from outside. It must be coming from within. So aside the finances, the sponsorship coming from the politicians, from the untouchables, these things, when they transfer money to them, they have to get some of these things that they need from, maybe possibly from within the communities or from major suppliers. I don't want to believe that from the ordinary retailer, that's where they'll be getting whatever they need. There will be bulk suppliers.
These are people
that should be traced.
And they will be contractors, contractors in that area,
But then, when these people, these bulk suppliers, are not traceable, then you begin to smell the rats, you begin to suspect that connivance, even right to the top of the government hierarchy and the political hierarchy and the political structure in this country. You begin to wonder the things that are happening right under our noses, and yet the authorities say that they do not know. So, but then this the medical supplies have been intercepted, and in bulk supplies too. So there must be a way to trace where did they come from, where the supplies come from.
And these bulk supplies, did they go through the highways, the major highways?
Of course, despite the serial checkpoints set up by security agencies.
I saw a video, just a little video excerpt, where in the bush, one of the bushes in I think was it Borno or Borno State. We saw an helicopter, supplying large, cartons. I don't know whatever was inside, with large cartons. It's just was stationary at a point, still flying, and with a thick rope. Now they dropped the thing inside one point, inside the bush. After disengaging the rope, the helicopter just moved. I was not thinking that, so these people, they must be also some connivance from outside. Like you said, the contractors, bulk contractors, yes, it is them, I believe, they have contracted this thing to them, this operation to them, so that after giving them their own cash, they will just organize how these bulk consignments will reach those people they are supposed to give.
And if you are wondering if these things are moved in the open, if they are moved through the normal routes, well, remember, you must also remember that Nigeria is a country where it is very easy to move human beings, to traffic human beings openly in the broad daylight. Abducted when terrorist elements attack a school, they abduct hundreds of students, and they would need several vehicles to convey those students, possibly trucks. And so a mass number of trucks moving along the road, filled up with them children, and they also use motorcycles for these attacks. Many motorcycles moving along the major road,
and even luxury buses.
So these ones are moving openly along the major road in an operation that does not last that lasts more than an hour, that lasts more than 2 hours, and yet the security agencies, prior to the attack, they disappear, while the children are being trafficked, while the abducted persons are being trafficked, they disappear.
Yes,
and then the next morning we see everything splashed on the front pages of newspapers. Then the usual rituals, the usual rites begin. Condemnations, then negotiations, and taxpayers' money again is used to secure the release of the abducted ones.
Yes, and we are on top of the situation.
So if it's very easy to move humans in broad daylight like that, trafficked humans, so how much more medical supplies and other logistics needed by the terrorists?
Yes.
Well, this one is quite sad and unfortunate. Terrorist IED killed commanding officer, 6 soldiers in Borno.
Yes, again, yes, I had that one yesterday evening.
And the Nigerian Army on Monday said the commanding officer of Sector 3, Joint Task Force Northeast, Operation Adinkai, and 6 combatant soldiers were killed in Monguno, Borno State on Sunday by terrorists. In a statement in Abuja on Monday, the Media Information Officer, Headquarters, Joint Task Force Northeast, Operation Adinkai, Lieutenant Colonel Sonny Uba, said the personnel lost their lives during a deadly terrorist attack in the late hours of Sunday. Uba explained that following intense exchange of gunfire, the terrorists were put to flight, with troops maintaining control of the location. However, regrettably, the commanding officer, while courageously proceeding to the troops' location to personally assess the situation, encountered an improvised explosive device, IED, which severely affected his vehicle, leading to his death alongside 6 other gallant officers.
This will be the second time in about 2 weeks that this kind of scenario will be happening. First, it was a whole brigadier general, yes, that was hacked down by these criminals and some other soldiers, and now another theater commander here.
Would they be deliberately targeting military top brass for some reason other than the fact that their initial intentions to perpetrate terror? Could there be other reasons they are targeting military top brass?
I think it might have a reason for targeting the military top brass, but well, targeting them and killing them, that was why I said, like in Ekiti State now, it was information that they acted on. That was why there was a joint operation to flush out the bushes, the forests. But like the brigadier general's killing, they camped them, it was like an ambush. Yes, like an ambush. And this one here too, they should have a means of getting some information. They should have a means of having some people outside, some soldiers outside, some security, like the military, police, and mufti outside. At least they might, if they are lucky, they might be somewhere. People are gathering and discussing some things. It has happened before. I've witnessed some of these things before. and they will just act on that information, even with the police too.
You know why I said this? Besides the fact that they are waging a war of terror on Nigerians and on Nigerian security agency, that maybe there could be some other motives for these increasing attacks on military top brass in the theaters of operation. You know, I heard this conspiracy theory. Well, of course, we cannot be substantiated that maybe they are deliberately doing this to whip up sentiments among the military and them to kindle their anger against the political authorities at this point in time,
especially the government.
The politicians, we are in the election time, so they want to make the soldiers angry with the current military, with the current civil establishment. Maybe kind of encourage what should I call it, mutiny among the soldiers.
Yes.
But then, like I said, it is a conspiracy theory which cannot really be substantiated.
And, in the meantime, I have this one here. President Bola Tinubu yesterday held a closed-door meeting with the Chief of Defense Staff, General Oluyole, and the French general at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, and sources close to the president who spoke with the Punch correspondent on condition of anonymity described Monday's engagement as part of intensified collaboration on Nigeria's security situation. And in addition to his earlier engagement, the president also held an emergency security meeting with the service chiefs and intelligence heads. And yes, those in attendance, like we learned at the meeting, includes the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chiefs of the Army, Navy and Air Staff, the Director General of the Department of State Services, the Director General of the National Intelligence Agency, and the Inspector General of Police.
Which of the meetings was attended by the French general you mentioned?
I think it is the same meeting, a closed-door meeting. A closed-door meeting, apart from this an earlier engagement. This one was between President Bola Tinubu and the Chief of Defense Staff, as well as Chief of General Oluyole and the French general. It was at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. Well,
they're always holding those meetings, and the outcome, the fallout of those meetings is still far from encouraging. Well, they have been doing their best, I would say, but best looks like it's still not good enough.
Yes.
While we want to commend the gallant men and women out there of our armed services who are working around the clock to make sure that we can sleep with our two eyes closed. But then the difference this time around regarding that meeting, the Bakwa meeting, is the presence of the French general that you mentioned. And I'm just been thinking aloud there. It could also be that our romance with France, especially on issues of security, and even other African neighbors have been kind of uncomfortable
with them
regarding our romance with France. So I think maybe it could also be, although of course the authorities won't admit it, it could also be a way of trying to save ourselves from the bully in Washington. From the reckless bully in Washington who thinks the entire world belongs to him, and who thinks that for his country to be at peace and for his country to continue to thrive and prosper, every other country on earth must suffer. Every other country on earth must become miserable. So maybe we are running to France.
Yes.
To in the case of any eventuality, he had already threatened fire and brimstone before the Iran war started, and his attention was also drawn away by events in Greenland and Venezuela. So now he's very busy with the Iranians. So maybe if he has his way and the entire world looks away as usual, then he would have time for us. So that could be why we are running to just me thinking aloud here.
Yes,
I'm not sure of anything.
You are quite correct. Let me just say the meeting with the French officer, which began at around 2 p.m., was the president's first official engagement since his return from Bayelsa on Friday, and it comes 3 weeks after the president announced that France had agreed to supply military equipment and training to Nigerian forces battling insurgency in the northeast.
Well, that, and there could also be beyond that as well.
Yes.
And the United States, well, this time they seem to be seeing something good in Nigeria's war against insecurity. It says US applauds Nigeria's conviction of 386 militants and urges sustained judicial reforms. And the US government has commended the Nigerian government for securing the conviction of 386 militants, describing they call them Islamist militants, describing the development as a significant milestone in the country's fight against terrorism and a boost to public confidence in the justice system. In a statement posted on its X handle and obtained by the Nigerian Tribune, the U.S. Senior Advisor for Arab and African Affairs, Masad Abulu, said Washington welcomed the outcome of the trials, particularly as many of the cases had previously been stalled for years within the judicial system. The United States commends the Nigerian government for a strong commitment to expediting trials addressing terrorism and related crimes. Well, I didn't know that as much as 386 had been convicted, and there's the United States letting us know that now.
Well, I have this one from the health sector here, and it seems like good news here if it was carried out properly and according to the rules. That is talking about the doctors' areas that always brings problems and making them go on strike. FG begins payment of doctors' arrears. And well, it says here that payment of long-awaited arrears arising from the Consolidated Medical Salary Structure Review has commenced for members of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors. The NAD's Publicity and Social Secretary, Dr. Abdul Majid Ibrahim, confirmed this in a letter to all members cited by Punch correspondent, and that the arrears covering between 1 and 6 months for some members were already being disbursed. Many doctors were also said to confirm receipt of the arrears. And yes, the statement from the letter is on an excerpt from it is on the front page of the Tribune, and Ibrahim reassured members yet to be credited that payments will be completed in due course, urging patience. Well, we hope this will be completed in due course.
Then this one, Peter Obi responding to, it says Obi flees Tinubu for Nigeria-Kenya comparison. A president aspirant on the platform of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Peter Obi, has criticized President Bola Tinubu for comparing Nigeria with Kenya and other African countries in the midst of global economic challenges. In a post on his X handle on Monday, the former governor of Anambra State recalled that in a recent remark in Yenagoa, President Tinubu suggested that Nigerians should find solace in being better off than Kenya and other African countries. Indeed. Obi said, while this might have been intended to soften the impact of economic hardship and rising fuel prices, the comment risks dampening the severity of the current situation. And he said it echoed the biblical parable of the Pharisee and the tax collector in the Gospel of Luke 18, chapter 18, verses 9 to 14, adding that a similar warning is found in the Quran 53:32, which cautions against self-righteousness. And of course, Mr. Peter Obi went on to read out statistics that indicate that that fault Mr. President's position that Nigeria is better than Kenya. Well, I stand my opinion. I stand with Mr. Peter Obi on this. President busy. What could it be that when you are up there, that sometimes like we are often told, you tend to lose touch with reality, and you do not know that it is raining outside. You don't know that what is happening. You don't know that there's a storm outside, and then because I do not know, it's not as if these African countries too are okay, but Mr. President has forgotten that we are still the world's poverty capital.
Yes.
Not Kenya.
Not Kenya, yes.
And I can also boldly say, look, Bimbo, there's a particular channel on cable TV where that is dedicated to wildlife.
Yes.
And then you would see people going on tourism. You see these wildlife documentaries, and all these research efforts from people coming from different parts of the world. And then you will see that these things are major revenue earners for a country like Kenya.
Yes.
What have we done with our own wildlife reserves? They have become inhabited by bandits and terrorists. They have become inhabited by murderers and cutthroats. So,
it was not like that in the past.
It was not like that before. So, if you are now saying a country like Kenya has been able to harness its resources, so let's deal with sentiments here. And then, like Mr. Peter B. rightly said, Kenya's poverty rate is about 43% of the population, approximately 23 million people, while Nigeria's is about 63%, around 150 million people, over 6 times that of Kenya. Kenya's life expectancy is about 67 years, while Nigeria's is about 54 years. The literacy rate in Kenya is approximately 81 to 85% compared to Nigeria's 62 to 65%. So that's why I asked that question that do you sometimes lose touch with reality when you are up there in the coolness of Aso Rock? The same thing, the FCT minister. Well, he's one man I admire, considering his commitment to his job, and just give that to him. But then he sometimes talks as if he has lost touch with reality, and he accuses Nigerians of always complaining that we should be grateful for what we have. Let's have this quick commercial break and we'll be back.
Hello Ibadan! Finally, the MTN Camp Season 4 is here. Be there live as we discover the next generation of Nigerian athletic superstars at the Lekon Salami Stadium at Damasinga. Come with your friends and family for an amazing week of exciting track and field action from the 14th to the 17th of April 2026. Visit mtnchamps.com for more information.
Hello Ìbàdàn, ìdíje MTN Champs ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹrin irú ẹ̀ ti balẹ̀ gùdẹ̀. Ẹ wá fojú lóúnjẹ bí a ó ṣe máa ṣàwárí àwọn ẹ̀bùn tuntun orí ọ̀dàn nínú eré sísá, ìfòfífò àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ní pápá ìṣeré Lẹ́kan Sàlámì Àdámàsìgbà Ìbàdàn láàrin ọjọ́ 14 sí ọjọ́ 17 oṣù kẹrin ọdún yìí lèrúkọ àfi máa ta lálá. Ẹbí, ọ̀rẹ́ àti ojúlùmọ̀ ẹ má gbẹ̀yìn o. Ẹ lọ sórí mtnchamps.com fún àlàyé kíkún.
Right, we're back, and the program is still Conversation on Oluyole 98.5 FM. Nigeria's economy in shock amid Middle East crisis. So that's coming from the finance minister. Bimbo Awule kan ṣe tẹ́lẹ̀, so it's very convenient. Ìgbà tí ó sì Iranian war don ko. I'm sorry to be sounding so pessimistic and agitated and exasperated this morning, Bimbo. But then, of course, it's predictable that, of course, when the Middle East crisis came up, the war between the US, Israel, and Iran, of course, it will be another big excuse for the Nigerian authorities as to why things are not working in our country. Things that were not working before. Were we not in shock before, Bimbo?
Yes, even when petrol was about 830 and 25 naira, were things working then? And now we are now blaming. They are blaming the situation in the country on petrol. On the issue between Iran, US, and the other Arabian countries.
But let's believe these two will pass the current Middle East crisis, and you can be sure, Bimbo, that when it passes, Nigeria will be among those countries that will not recover from the impact of the current Middle East crisis.
Well, this one says that. We're talking about electricity now. Well, first, Nigeria misses $3.3 billion oil windfall as $25 billion Nigeria-Morocco pipeline progresses. I did not know that there was a pipeline being...
There was. It's been a long-standing project, and we all pray for its success.
And now, power subsidy hits 418 billion, losses exceed 300 billion naira. Well, so that is the situation in the power subsidy arrangements.
They
now
keep talking about power subsidy. If there's so much subsidy and you are incurring so much losses. So but where is the power? Is it the same as it has happened in the petroleum sector? And even when you remove the subsidy, we are still yet to feel the impact of subsidy. You said it was going to be initial hardship, then we'll start enjoying the gains. But of course, now in that sector, they're also blaming the Middle East crisis. And this Middle East crisis that is going to be blamed for everything now. It will get to a stage, if the crisis goes on any much longer, you get to a stage where the pepper and tomato seller at Bashorno Oja will be telling you that the areas are expensive because there's a crisis in the
Middle East. Yes.
And because Donald Trump is fighting the Iranians. Alison Madweke rejects bribery claims in London court as defense begins. Will she never come home, Bimbo? And El Rufai court adjourns bail ruling till today. It says a Kaduna State High Court on Monday adjourned till Tuesday, that's today, for ruling on the bail application involving former Governor Nosu El Rufai after the prosecution amended the charges and dropped one co-defendant. And had renewed arraignment, the charges were read, after which plea was taken. The prosecution subsequently removed one of the earlier listed co-defendants, leaving only El Rufai to stand trial.
Well, that is the situation there. Let's go back to the insecurity now. Do you remember the Chibok issue? Chibok girls?
Chibok girls.
Yes, and it is... This story is saying that 12 years after the abduction of 276 school girls from Chibok in Borno State, parents of the victims have renewed calls for urgent international intervention to secure the return of the 87 still missing. And on its part, the Murtala Mohammed Foundation, MMF, called for renewed accountability, warning that the tragedy has come to symbolize a broader pattern of neglect and diminishing global insurgency. And in an open letter yesterday, the parents through Yana Galang and Zana Lawan said 87 of the abducted girls remain unaccounted for, describing their continued captivity as a painful reminder of unfulfilled commitments by both national and global stakeholders. Well, I don't think they should. Well, I don't know. It is good that they are clamoring for the release of the remaining 87 girls, but I am sure they will not be in a good state. In a good state, like maybe some of them might have been impregnated and had kids, like 4 or 5. Then some might have been indoctrinated one way or the other, and some might not even want to come home again.
Well, of course, by now they would be. Well, if they are still alive, by now they'll no longer be girls. They'll be young women by now.
Young women, yes.
But sadly and unfortunately, it's like the whole world has moved on and everyone has forgotten about them.
Yes.
There was a particular national daily that used to, for like 1-2 years after the abduction, that national daily would always, at a corner on its front page, would always put something drawing attention to the fact that the Chibok girls are still missing. But after some time, that also fizzled out. So until this morning, I must confess I'm also guilty. I also didn't remember them until this morning.
Yes.
That some of them are still in captivity. And okay, Hadas kill Mopo, a mobile police officer. 13 others in fresh attack on Benue communities. And man gets life sentence for sexually assaulting neighbor's baby. His name is Victor Dixon, and he sexually assaulted his neighbor's 6-month-old child. I think the law should also go to the extra mile to ascertain whether he's in his right frame of mind. He might be sick.
Yes.
And well, still on President Donald Trump and his activities in the Middle East. I'm not afraid of Trump. Guess who? Oluyole. And well, me, I think I like that statement. It's gratifying that at least someone is standing up to him directly, unlike the way the whole world seems to be scared of him. Even the other international powers, whatever they've said against his activities, very subtle and very, very indirect, and sometimes often meaningless. And the same thing, except that the only thing I see happening now is that that country is not getting the same level of support that it used to get when it turns on a particular country for no other reason than the fact that that country has something that it wants and it believes it must take it by all means. The war in Iraq, Operation Desert Shield or Desert Storm 2 now, the whole world rallied around the Americans to invade that country because they believed the Americans' narrative that there were weapons of mass destruction in that country, only to find out that it was all a lie, that it was all false, and those weapons of mass destruction were never found. Today, that country is lying in ruins. So the same narrative that they played up, accusing the Iranians of enriching their uranium for the purpose of building nuclear weapons, enriching lithium or whatever, or uranium or whatever for the purpose of building nuclear weapons. While that country has consistently denied that its nuclear program were for civil purposes, were for development purposes. Of course, the Americans are now they expected that the same thing that is what is when they invaded Iraq, that the whole world was going to rally around them, but that is not happening. And of course, the American president is not happy about that at all. First, Pope Leo has rejected criticism from U.S. President Donald Trump of his appeal to end the various wars around the world, stating he is not afraid of the U.S. president. Now, the news agency of Nigeria reports that Pope Leo made the comments on Monday on board an aircraft taking him to Algiers, the first stop on his Africa trip. Quoting the Pope now, he said, "The things I say are not meant as attacks on anyone," the head of the Catholic Church said. "I am not a politician. I am inviting all people to look for ways of building bridges of peace and reconciliation, of looking for ways to avoid war anytime that's possible. I am not afraid of the Trump administration," Leo stressed. Shortly before the pontiff's departure, the U.S. president accused him of pursuing a terrible foreign policy. On the two social platforms, Trump wrote that Leo only came into office. Hear the arrogance coming from this man, the sheer arrogance. He said that Leo only came into office because people had hoped that a pope from the United States would be able to deal with him better. Trump said, "If I wasn't in the White House, Leo would not be in the Vatican." He was the one that installed the pope.
Before we go on, let's take this break.
Okay.
Hello Ìbàdàn, ìdíje MTN Champs ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹ́rin irú ẹ̀ ti balẹ̀ gùdẹ̀. Ẹ wá fojú lóúnjẹ bí a ó ṣe máa ṣàwárí àwọn ẹ̀bùn tuntun orí ọ̀dàn nínú eré sísá, ìfòfífò àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ní pápá ìṣeré Lẹ́kan Sàlámì Àdámàsìgbà Ìbàdàn láàrin ọjọ́ 14 sí ọjọ́ 17 oṣù kẹrin ọdún yìí lèrúkọ àfi máa ta lálá. Ẹbí, ọ̀rẹ́ àti ojúlùmọ̀ ẹ má gbẹ̀yìn o. Ẹ lọ sórí mtnchamps.com fún àlàyé kíkún.
We're back, and the program is still conversation. So, because we are talking about President Donald Trump and the Catholic Pope Leo, and Trump was arrogantly saying that if not for him, that Pope Leo would not be in the Vatican. So,
I've forgotten that Pope Leo was an American until you mentioned it now. So, what if Pope Leo stands up to him? Will he say he wants to pick him up like the Venezuelan president, or he wants to, destroy the Vatican? Will he say that?
Well, knowing the Americans for what they are, if it becomes too much of a problem, they might arrange an accident for him. That kind of conspiracy has happened in history. Not with a pope, but then with other leaders that they consider inimical to their interest.
And I remembered during Pope John Paul II, there was an attempt to assassinate him. Yes, there was an attempt.
And then this same man, Bimbo, the American president, that is saying that he wants to come and protect Christians in Nigeria, and people are clapping for him, especially Nigerian Christians. Now, is this the kind of man, someone who is obviously not interested in world peace, someone who is destroying the peace of the entire world and insisting that that is the only way that the world can have peace? Because so I wonder, honestly, if he carries out his threat to come guns blazing into Nigeria, saying he wants to protect Christians, at the end of it all, we'd all wish he had left us as we were. That my opinion here, which I believe I'm entitled to.
Yes, I agree with you.
But okay, police dismissed 6 officers in Edo over alleged extortion. That's as FG waves import duties on mass transit buses, EVs, and others.
And well, this one here says the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB has described the list recently published by the federal government, which included the group among terrorism sponsors, as laughable. And responding to the allegation in a statement yesterday, IPOB said it had never been a threat. It had never been a threat to peace in Nigeria, stressing that the publication is not about security, but about fear of a people who refuse to be broken, silenced, or erased.
Did they mention that list? Did they mention Miyetti Allah Kautahuri?
I am not too sure. It is not here.
The militant arm of Miyetti Allah, the one that is always causing trouble. And they are not listed, despite the fact that I think was it the United Nations now that listed them as the 3rd most dangerous terrorist group in the world. Whether it was the Americans or the United Nations, I'll get the facts now. I think it was the UN. Let's have another commercial break. When we are back, we'll open the phone lines.
Hello, Ibadan. Finally, the MTN Champ Season 4 is here. Be there live as we discover the next generation of Nigerian athletic superstars at the Lekon Salami Stadium at Damasinga. Come with your friends and family for an amazing week of exciting track and field action from the 14th to the 17th of April 2026. Visit mtnchamps.com for more information.
Hello Ìbàdàn, ìdíje MTN Champs ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹrin irú ẹ̀ ti balẹ̀ gùdẹ̀. Ẹ wá fojú lóúnjẹ bí a ó ṣe máa ṣàwárí àwọn ẹ̀bùn tuntun orí ọ̀dàn nínú eré sísá, ìfòfífò àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ní pápá ìṣeré Lẹ́kan Sàlámì Àdámàsìgbà Ìbàdàn. Láàrin ọjọ́ 14 sí ọjọ́ 17 oṣù kẹrin ọdún yìí lèrúkọ á fi máa ta lálá. Ẹbí, ọ̀rẹ́ àti ojúlùmọ̀ ẹ má gbẹ̀yìn o. Ẹ lọ sórí mtnchamps.com fún àlàyé kíkún.
Right, we're back. You're still on to conversation on Oluyole 98.5 FM. Time to open the phone lines and welcome your contributions on the program this morning. Right, our first caller is here. 070-5555-1985. Good morning. Good to have you, Mr. Joe Michael.
Again, I'm still there. This subsidy on power. I think they have started what do you call it? I think that they privatize. While the government is paying subsidy on power again, I think to me it's a fraud. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Michael. 070-5555-1985.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good
Good morning.
God bless you, my brother.
Amen.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
I can be admired from you.
Good to have you, sir.
Thank God. I'm a Yoruba man like our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. If we have the same name as he's called, I can be Oluyole. So, in my assessment of him as a president, I cannot be accused of being tribalistic. We have never had it bad in this country, in the history of our nation, Nigeria, politically, economically, even security-wise. The worst performing president in Nigeria today is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This is a fact that cannot be disputed. Tinubu removed subsidy even before he spent a day in the office. My question is, where is the result of that subsidy removal today? Surprisingly, Tinubu is now beating his chest, applauding himself that our country is better than Kenya. Just imagine, as widely careful as Bola Tinubu, for him to be comparing our dear country with Kenya is more than mediocre. Why cannot he go for countries like UK, America, Japan, and China? Why should always be making backward trend in this country? When Adebasola was governor of Osun State, one of his compatriots then, he introduced common uniform for all secondary school students in the country, which caused a lot of confusion. When Adebasola was asked, he was questioned. He said he borrowed the idea Togo. Just imagine, our Adebasola borrowed the idea of common uniform from Togo. Why are we like this? Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, from the as for your assessment of President Bola Tinubu, you said he was the worst performing leader. That's your opinion. The Nigerians will also think the president has done well.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Now, on what Mr. Akabi from the said just now, when all these leaders talk, just ignore them, because if you reply them, just ignore them and leave them. This Kenya that is talking about that stable power supply, that constant power supply, and their tourism is next to, not second to none in Africa. You don't have any tourism, anything. You don't have constant power supply. You are comparing yourself to, you just see one statistics come from somewhere, so you can compare your own RNG statistics to your note. Just ignore the people. That's what they know how to do. Then on sugar girls, in this life that we live in, do you know that Mr. Tola, if Trump had been the president of the United States then in 2014, do you know these girls would have been returned? Because he would have acted. The Obama, the wife, especially, what is it, Jeff, they were playing politics, really bring up ideas, going on social media, putting on uniform or bring up ideas. Everybody is frolicking here, politicians are frolicking here in Nigeria, bring out ideas. They are using it against the government and all that. Since when they've been government for 12 years now, I've been brought back this year. My brother, all of my maybe.
Amen. Thank you very much.
Well, perhaps you are right. Maybe if Trump had been president at that time, he would have been more passionate about the matter of the Chibok girls. He does get very passionate about some of these things.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
This is Dr. Ilabugu calling from Lamlate.
Good to have you, Dr. Ilabugu.
I want to give it to the people of Ogun State, the leaders of the APC, the leaders of APC. They anonymously chose the Senator Yayi, who is from Yewa side. And that's a good model that we're supposed to follow in the rest days. When people are good, they are so good, and the past governments we have, they are so good. But now we stand good. Our state belongs to all of us, about all people. Why can't we follow the types of model we use in the state presently to choose a person to give way for people from the Barapa and the that one will be good. Even democratically, it will be so good. For example, we are agitating for the presidency to come to the south. And the fact that the Nepal has done it more than, they still make it possible for us to produce a president. And that is a good winner for our democracy. So the same thing should happen in the whole state. Let's study economic office. Even the prophet said we should love our own town. Because what is going on now presently, we've been hiring, we've been having the So let's give chance to the decision. What is good for the gift is good for the gender. Thank you, Dr. Ilabugu from Lamlate.
Thank you very much.
Well, Dr. Ilabogo, I quite understand what your feelings are this morning. But if you are going to a governor coming from outside of Ibadan, well, for the fact that they control the voting population, you must also have a way of convincing the masses of eligible voters that are Ibadans to vote for that particular candidate that is not from Ibadan. At the time that it happened, Alawakala,
yes.
Well, there was a particular political figure that was convincing enough to tell Ibadan people to vote for this particular person, and ditto for the time of Bolagi. I guess the power behind that was also, aside that Bolagi was of course a very good candidate, the support from the likes of late Chief Adelaku was then the strong man of Ibadan politics.
Yes.
But then let's see how it unfolds.
Well, expecting more calls from you and yes. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Mr.
I'm
Weather.
Good to have you, sir.
Now, combine Kenya with Nigeria. What are you talking about? We can see what I'm talking about. Talk about the Republic here. It's better than Nigeria. Okay, Kenya. Oh, wow. Now, I copy from you. Even the Buhari government, better than this one, no? Let's say the truth. How many people have died in the government? Can't catch it. Thousands have died. And the total 2027. Now I'm going to speak again. I think like for how long? You don't get 15 minutes of family. You don't get. When to level visit to Borno State, come and say it's all over. It's all over. It's all over. What is happening? Now IOPOP. I authority to go. I'm not surprised. Start it. You want Nigeria enemy. Lamakari is in prison that year. Boko Haram 10 years imprisonment. Good and fine. Cheating here and there. What was it to eat? On never Saturday. Go Saturday again. 419. You don't set. Thank you much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Weather.
070-5555-1985. That's the number to call. ADC dares INEC holds convention today as the Supreme Court airs Mark's appeal. No request to use Eagle Square. That's coming from Mr. Yesom Wiki.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you, sir.
You're welcome, Mr. Kalan. Thank you very much, Mr. Nugo. Thanks for your effort. On this Tinubu-led administration and economy and they compare Nigeria with Kenya and others. See, President Tinubu is going on with his normal business. So we must make sure that the vulnerable, the poor, are taken care of. So in some sectors, Tinubu has achieved is spending on electricity and others. So we must have the interest of people to reduce poverty. So money should be spent purposefully well. Money should be spent well in the interest of the poor, the vulnerable, and others. So the administration need to reduce poverty. And this on the security. The terrorists, they are planning attack. And the government should do the needful. This is because the terrorists are stockpiling stockpiling arms and ammunition. So they must stop the illegal things of arms, because the arms are in circulation. And the government must address the issue of legal arms, which fell into the wrong hands people. And you see, the Americans, they now commend Nigeria because the security agencies, the police are doing well, and the army are doing well, and there's more to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. But our time is fast spent, and we have to go. We had an interesting time on conversation this morning, and we will be back same time tomorrow morning, God willing. My name is Tola Teriba.
And my name is Bimbo Akambi. Thank you very much for listening. Enjoy your day.
Conversation.
Hello Ibadan. Finally, the MTN Champ Season 4 is here. Be there live as we discover the next generation of Nigerian athletic superstars at the Lekon Salami Stadium at Damasinga. Come with your friends and family for an amazing week of exciting track and field action from the 14th to the 17th of April 2026. Visit mtnchamps.com for more information.
Hello Ìbàdàn, ìdíje MTN Champs ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kẹrin rú ẹ̀ ti balẹ̀ gùdẹ̀. Ẹ wá fojú lóúnjẹ bí a ó ṣe máa ṣàwárí àwọn ẹ̀bùn tuntun orí ọ̀dàn nínú eré sísá, ìfòfífò àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ní pápá ìṣeré Lẹ́kan Sàlámì Adámàsìgbà Ìbàdàn láàrin ọjọ́ 14 sí ọjọ́ 17 oṣù kẹrin ọdún yìí lèrúkọ àfi máa ta lálá. Ẹbí, ọ̀rẹ́ àti ojúlùmọ̀ ẹ má gbẹ̀yìn o. Ẹ lọ sórí mtnchamps.com fún àlàyé kíkún.
98.5 Oluyole FM.
Alright, the warm welcome right here this morning. Yes, I know it's quite cold and windy in several parts of Ibadan, but we welcome you right here to the very magnificent Tuesday edition of Sport to the Beat right here on 90.5 FM. You already know this is the voice of Victor Opune. The Master Chef is right on seat, ready to serve you breakfast in bed or wherever you are at. As we get swelled with all the happenings from different quarters. Well, this morning I'm bringing to you quite interesting tidings out there. Yes, I know that some people are still talking about the ripple effects of the TCC and seeing, some of the clubs who have gone and done some magic out there have been able to win after timeouts, hustling and jostling to get something done. Well, of course, kudos to Atlantic Business for doing the business. Also, kudos to the likes of Dino and Beyond Limits, amongst others who have been, pulling strings out there and, making those fine runs across different centers. I know my man Jason is quite pleased about what he is, seen from that side.